Hey guys, it's Keith here from Celestia Homes. What an insane 48 hours we've had here in Adelaide. So if you're not from Adelaide, or perhaps you're not, keeping tabs of what's going on in other states, we from lunchtime Wednesday this week, we went into a 6-day hard lockdown. And when I say hard, it was incredibly hard. I mean, you weren't even allowed to take your dog for a walk. Exercise outside was just simply not permitted. It was insane. And this obviously had a crazy flow-on effect to all the small businesses, every business pretty much out there. You know, whether that was a good flow-on effect in terms of petrol stations were just backed out onto the roads. Checkouts were just backed out for a long time. I mean, I tried to pick a few things up before we went into that hard lockdown at the end of Wednesday, and I was in the checkout for over half an hour just waiting to go through the checkout and pay for my stuff. It was insane. Shelves were being stripped, staff were running around like crazy trying to get stuff on. As soon as it went on the shelves, boom, it was gone. I mean, that's the insane nature of it. And, you know, I guess as a business, it means that they were still able to operate, and, you know, they probably did quite well as a business out of that. On the other side of things, there were businesses that had to just shut down completely. I mean, as you guys know, we provide accommodation for people, and it takes months and months of planning and hard work to be able to secure the accommodation for our clients, and to prepare everything. And with the swift blow of one announcement, it was gone. And not just gone for that period. I mean, any future bookings, you know, for the next few weeks had also been wiped out. The flow-on effect, obviously, that South Australia can't control is how the other states react to that news as well. And unfortunately, a lot of the other states decided to just close their borders completely. And I completely understand that from a well-being perspective. But obviously that means all of our interstate guests, even though South Australia, and I'll tell you the kicker in a minute to this whole story, even though South Australia may still allow some form of movement within the state, they weren't actually able to return home. So consequently, it meant that they just couldn't come because they didn't want to get stuck here. So, you know, that's part of it. And then obviously you've got all the cafes, restaurants, other event providers, venue providers that have prepared months and months, just getting back on their feet after probably the toughest 6 to 8 months in business history, in recent times anyway. And, you know, there were a lot of reports of those cafes just having to throw out fresh food because it wasn't going to last for the initially proposed 6 days of the lockdown. So all of that's gone. Obviously, you know, businesses who had bookings as well that rely on future bookings like us, all of that was wiped out as well. And, you know, here's the thing. I guess we just need to try to laugh about it now, but, you know, it certainly is no laughing matter, is that the whole premise of this hard lockdown was based on information that the authorities had gathered, which turned out to be a lie. That's the thing. So the person who, I guess, provided some information that the authorities acted on basically lied about that information, and obviously had this huge flow-on effect. So I guess the good news out of all of that is that the lockdown, the hard lockdown that we were expecting to last for 6 days, has now only lasted, today being Saturday, and ending Saturday tonight at midnight, has only lasted basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so 3 days. So that is a blessing, and, you know, I must say that we need to be grateful for that. Obviously, a lot of the damage, economic, financially, mentally, and you know, the stress level and all of that has already been done. What can we do, right? And look, this is the thing that's led me to a really profound moment. And it also happened because I was reading a book that had a bit of a story in it, and I want to share that story with you because I think it's really important, and I think it's something that all of us, you know, could just take on board in one form or another, whatever our circumstances in life are. So the story goes something like this, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember it word for word, but it's based on a Taoist principle, and it goes something like this. So in a small village in rural China, there was a man who was considered quite wealthy because he had a horse. And one day his horse just ran away. Now, all the other villagers said, "That's terrible fortune, you've lost your horse." And the farmer simply replied, "Maybe, maybe not." Anyway, the next day, the horse returns, and it brings 2 wild horses back home with it. The community rejoices and says, "Wow, you're so lucky. You've got these 2 extra horses now." And the farmer simply replies, "Maybe, maybe not." The third day, the farmer's son tries to ride one of these wild horses, as you do, and he falls off and he breaks his leg. Oh, the community is feeling the father's pain. How unlucky, your son's broken his leg. But again, the farmer simply replies, "Maybe, maybe not." The day after, the authorities come for conscript, and they're coming to collect all the able-bodied young men in the village to join the army. But they reject the farmer's son because he's got a broken leg. He's not going to be any use to him. And the village turns to him and says, "Wow, you're fortunate. Your son didn't get selected to join the army. He gets to stay home with you." And again, the farmer simply replies, "Maybe, maybe not." And look, this is the lesson that I learned from that story. Who knows what's going to be around the corner? It's anyone's guess. What turns out to be something terrible ends up causing great fortune, and vice versa. We just don't know how things are going to pan out, no matter how dire the situations appear. All right, guys, I'm back inside now. Turns out the iPhones will shut down when they get too hot. So I gave the most epic speech before, but it didn't get recorded. So I'm going to try to recreate that part of it now for you. So as I was saying, when I think about the last 6 to 8 months, it has been incredible. I mean, given what we were experiencing at that time, you know, expecting all of our overseas guests to come and stay with us, and in a matter of 3 days following the announcements about the international borders closing, all of that was just wiped out. We were booked for weeks in advance, and all of it gone. And we had to work really hard over the last 6 to 8 months, just like every other business has that have decided that they want to survive this year. We had to work really hard to go and find new people that we could serve, form new relationships with other businesses, and pull all our resources together to make improvements to the website, to improve the service that we deliver, to create a better experience for the people that we were able to serve. And what we managed to achieve in that 6 to 8 month period was exponential. We pushed harder than we probably ever would have pushed if it weren't for that critical, negatively perceived decision back in March. And that's the thing with the whole situation. We just never know what's coming around. And now that I've had a few days to think about everything that's happened and the situation that's being presented to us, I've come up with a thought that really sums it all up. It really sums up this year. And that is, the toughest steel is forged under the hardest hammer. The toughest steel is forged under the hardest hammer. Because we have been pounded and pounded and pounded this year, just like everyone else. But what it means is that every time we push through, we become a little stronger, a little tougher, more pliable to those forces, and we become better for it. We're able to provide a better service, a better experience, and an overall better outcome for all those people that we are able to serve. So that's what I want to leave you with for today. Hopefully you can take some of those lessons that I've learnt, hard lessons that I've learnt, and apply it to whatever situation you're in. A little bit of a different video, but I really just wanted to get this message out there and really just thank all of you for all of your support and following us along this journey. We're really looking forward to welcoming you back. We want you to come and stay with us. We want to be able to look after you. We want to be able to provide you that exceptional world-class service, that we've always been striving for. So thanks once again for all your support, and I hope to see you soon. All right, bye.